Myrna in Mexico. Cyril sat back in the rebar recliner beside the pool and nodded as another cerveza was placed beside him. His third today, and it had just turned noon. He wondered idly if he was drinking too much, but decided not to worry about it, at least not yet. Not this week, stolen as it was from real life as he tended to think of his existence up north. On the other side of the faux Art Deco fence, his wife was haggling with one of the beach vendors. Poor bastard, thought Cyril. Como cuando cuesta, he heard her yell, knowing full well the vendor would reply in Spanish and Myrna would have no idea what he said, but would nevertheless respond with mucho, too mucho. Sure enough, her strident voice carried even over the relentless surf pounding. Cyril was pleased to see the vendor vigorously shake his head and continue down the beach. Here's to you, buddy, he muttered, raising the bottle to his lips. The cold beer slid down his throat like he remembered sliding into Myrna back in the day. God, where did that come from, he wondered, nearly choking. The last time he tried it on with her had been memorable, all right, but not in a good way. It was just after they arrived at the all-inclusive, and both of them basking in a somewhat celebratory mood, they had agreed he would pop a little blue pill with dinner, and later who knew what might happen. He'd not actually been prescribed the pills, but had been given one by his friend Ronnie, who had convinced him it would make him feel like a teenager again. Oh, great, said Myrna when he told her. So you'll get off in about 27 seconds and be snoring before I've even taken my hand away. It hadn't worked out quite like that, although Myrna's timeline wasn't too far off. What they hadn't counted on, however, was the persistence of his erection after they thought the fun and games to be over. 2 hours later, Cyril had to admit he was getting worried. Jesus Christ, Myrna, what do we do if it doesn't come down, he asked, lying there exhausted, his prick standing at attention like a parsnip freshly pulled from the field. Myrna, clearly bored, was filing her nails. Baseball, she said. Algebra. Scales on the piano. Think of scales on the piano. Impossible, surely, but it stood taller. Cyril thought about his friend Murray, who was going through chemo. He thought about his childhood dog, Mushroom, who got hit by a bus right in front of him when he was 8. He thought of the time the neighbor's cat ran out in front of his car, just as he'd said, what a lovely night for a drive, how peaceful the cat had looked as he'd carried it limp to the side of the road, how guilty he'd felt for not owning up to his neighbor. Nothing was working. With every sobering thought, he grew, if anything, harder. Myrna, he implored, if it doesn't go down soon, we'll have to call the doctor. Myrna snapped shut the box holding her manicure set and sighed. All she needed was for this to get out to the new friend she'd made at yoga. So what do you want me to do? Sing to it? We've tried everything else. I don't know, but I'm desperate. Think of something. She turned to him then, her eyes wide, and leaned towards his recalcitrant member as if it was one of the old deaf men in the seniors' home where she worked. I've got it, she cried. Donald Trump, Donald Trump. The realization that there was an even bigger prick in the room than his own finally did the trick. What followed was like the aftermath of a storm, when at last the rain lets up, the roar of thunder grows more distant, and an unexpected calm fills the air.